Previously on Sister Wives.
He refuses to comment, going, nope. Like, seriously.
This smug.
Every time Kody says nope, production needs to dock a 0 off his paycheck.
Do you want to talk about Maddie?
Nope. What the?
Next question. What do you think about Mary saying you were cruel for affirming your love?
I'm not gonna talk about that. What the hell is going on?
You must not have read your contract. When we renewed it for season 19, we added a clause that states, should Kody or Robyn refuse to answer questions asked by the producers, then they will have a 0 docked from their pay. You did read the contract, right?
I'm not even gonna dignify that with an answer. What? Why? What was that for?
Robyn is in another room and just refused to answer the following questions. What do you do all day? What does Kody do all day? Where does all the money go? And do you feel bad about being so terrible at interior decorating?
Negative? How will we afford Brianna's helicopter now?
Air. Earth. Fire. Loyalty. Long ago, the 4 wives lived together in harmony. Then, everything changed when the Phoenix wife demanded more. Only the patriarch, husband to all 4 elements, could play fair. But when the OG wives needed him most, he vanished. 18 seasons passed, and we have discovered the new star, an airbender named Christine. And although her cooking spinoff is just okay, she has a lot to live up to before she's ready to save anything. But I believe Christine can save this show.
Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Angie. This is my husband, Tim. Morty's over here. And we are recapping from the Brown family game night.
Wow, so cowboy.
In Janelle's Vegas house, her living room was cowboy themed. And obviously, since she left Kody, Robyn has taken the initiative to make one of the rooms in the McMansion a cowboy themed room. We'll talk about the artwork in this space. For announcements, within the Sister Wives universe, Maddie is pregnant with her 4th. It's kind of weird to think about because the one she was pregnant with in the last episode isn't even born yet. But then I have to remember, this show is 2 years behind.
This show is like looking through a window to the past.
Like an archaeological dig.
Yes, maybe this shouldn't be on TLC. Maybe it should be on the History Channel.
Just catch up already. So let's begin the episode. Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 3, Am I My Brother's Keeper? A reference to what I assume are the OG children being Ari and Solomon's keeper.
I have no idea.
We kick off the episode in good old Utah. Christine tells us about Logan and Michelle's upcoming wedding.
What? I thought it was a secret, people.
The actual names of the bride and groom are not disclosed. Christine tells us that the last time she talked to Michelle, she was told that Kody and Robyn weren't going at all. Kody corroborates Christine's story, in that he was hesitant to go due to feeling like an outsider around his own children and their mothers.
Because he's a weak little...
You can think of other words.
Why use a fancy word when a simple one do job good?
Do job good. He points the finger at these children and women, saying they are all culpable for making him feel so excluded. He doesn't want to be surrounded by people who are looking at him, but not talking to him. He is not in a place where he is ready to forgive these traitors, so he is hesitant to attend his firstborn child's wedding.
Okay, buddy. I think you gotta get going, buddy.
As he is imparting all of this, we see Kody and Robyn doing what else? Yard work.
Does anyone actually believe that these people ever do yard work?
No, because this is very reminiscent of, again, the weed whacking scene, Robyn pretending to trim up her houseplants. They don't do this at all.
Riveting television.
Kody has surveying equipment to measure out the lots of the shared land. Meanwhile, Robyn is in full makeup and hair, raking pine needles.
Cody's not a surveyor. He didn't have one of those compasses or anything. What was he up to?
He had a tool that had some sort of cord wrapped around it. I guess he was trying to see if he could partition out the land.
I don't know who he thinks he's fooling.
I mean, they want him to look busy because he doesn't have a job. Christine states that the last time there was a Brown wedding was at Aspen and Mitch's. Robyn and Christine reflect on the major change that occurred between the wedding 4 years ago and the one coming up. In 2018, no one divorced Kody yet. Christine asserts that she didn't have intentions of leaving him back then. I was under the impression that she did have some backup plan to not stick around. This is again coming from the podcast she did with Kate Casey, but I could see her trying to make her marriage work even back then. It was around this time when she was saying, I can live next door to these ladies for the rest of my life, but I cannot share a house with them. That obviously evolved to, I cannot be in the same space as them anymore. Them, meaning Kody and Robyn.
Yeah. I think she was planning her escape for sure. It just seems more interesting of a storyline because they go on about how everything's changed in the last 4 years for the next 15 minutes.
We'll see more of it where Kody and Robyn do vacillate between saying it was working while at the same time holding the narrative that no one was integrated into the family. People did not get along. Mykelti will not be attending Logan's wedding due to doctor's orders. Christine says that that's unfortunate because she tends to act as Kody and Robyn's emotional support human during such awkward encounters.
And why can't Mykelti attend? It's because she's hella pregnant.
Yes. It's no wonder Mykelti hated this pregnancy so much. We get an establishing shot of the city of Las Vegas saying it is now the day of the wedding. The show's trying to imply Logan and Michelle's wedding was in Vegas, but when word of this came out, every news outlet stated that the event was in Phoenix, Arizona. There were even Reddit posts that Christine posted some Instagram reel saying she was going to a wedding today that was in Phoenix. I'm guessing the location was obscured in order to protect the bride and groom. If not, I would even go so far as to say the show was trying to protect Kody. If he was thinking of skipping out on a major familial event that was a stone's throw away from his house, that would be more damning for him as a father to even think of not showing up.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant they were trying to protect Kody from being hurt. People would be saying, oh no, Kody Brown's gonna be in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go beat him up.
Today is not 2 years ago.
Yes, I know. That's where I went to. Kody needs to be protected because people just want to break his legs. Maybe they just had the B-roll.
Okay. They're like, I don't want to film more drone footage in Phoenix.
Or buy somebody else's footage. Nobody's going to know. Everybody knows.
The adults purport that this day should be bearable if everyone is able to ignore who they are on bad terms with.
Of course.
Robyn then voices something that doesn't even age well within the same episode. The kids don't need to be involved in the issues of their parents. And we'll get more into this outlook when we hear what opinions Ari holds of Christine.
I don't think Ari's even old. You know what? We'll get to it later.
Janelle narrates how things went down. She and Christine were, of course, sitting next to one another at the reception. Janelle acknowledged Mary's presence, but Janelle states that she did not interact with Kody nor Robyn at all. They said hi to each other a couple of times, and that was it. This is kind of sad, because This is their first child's wedding, and they can't even exchange sentiments on how proud they are of him or how happy he will be.
I'm sorry, you suck it up. I know it's awkward, but just say, hey, isn't this so lovely that Logan is getting married? You are grown adults.
By all accounts, it seems that the kids were acting more like adults than the actual parents in this family. Mary gives the lowdown on how to handle these familial events. Just interact with the people you're comfortable with and avoid those that make you feel uneasy. Thanks, Mary. That is good advice.
Mary doesn't have a lot of options, though. Not very many people are super keen on her. Which is sad.
Maybe she had a +1 that attended with her to keep her company.
I'm not the biggest Mary fan, but hopefully.
Yeah. Kody says he and Robyn's part of the family were sequestered from the other guests during the reception. He points out that this was a good call considering the bride and groom knew how uncomfortable they were around the majority of the company. Robyn mentions that there were a few children that hugged her. Gabe even said he loved her and she responded in kind. Gabe has always been someone who is trying to make things work.
I can understand that. You're being lied to. I can understand that.
She screwed me and she screwed you, and then every time I bring up the rules, she would walk out of the meeting.
I was vulnerable with you. I revealed my emotions. You can reveal yours without getting angry.
No, but listen.
I understand that your emotion is anger.
I don't want to throw your mom under the bus, but Christine and Mom both made choices all summer long to continue vacationing.
I think Gabriel is just trying so hard to get his dad to have a relationship with him again.
And now that we're on the same page, I can move Mom to be on your team. I can move Christine to be on your team. I can say, hey, don't go to Mexico because I'll miss
Gabriel, you're not the head of this family, okay?
I understand that.
I should have been listened to from the beginning.
Mom made those choices for me and Gare.
You guys had,
but at the same time, like,
Gabriel, don't just blame Mom.
I'm not. No, I want to take some responsibility here.
Okay.
If I had been,
Gabe, listen. Why are you upset?
I am upset because if I had known in March, I would have been able to understand and to operate as a member or a teammate.
He is always trying to be vulnerable and authentic. This is how I know whenever Robyn or Kody complain that the rumor mill children hate them, they are trying to play the victim.
Gabe here is class act all the way.
In his confessional, Kody has the gall to downplay his son's olive branch as disingenuous. He says, there are so many family members that say, hi, I love you, and let's get away from each other. Kody refers to these people as betrayers who have cut him deep.
I don't know what he expects. Does he want them to come over and drop to their knees and beg for Kody's forgiveness?
Yeah, because I don't know what he wants in this situation. Nothing is ever good enough for him. Kody complains that these people are not reaching out. They reach out to Robyn. Then he accuses them that their offerings of peace are insincere and that he's still being betrayed. I'm with Maddie on this one. He needs to be cut out from your life. He is so toxic. Goldilocks then says something weird. He asserts that there were people that seemed to change their behavior whenever he was in their presence. They were trying to make it look as if they were having more fun than him. This is how childish Christine is being. I mean, how childish this divorce has been. The man-child continues to label the situation as a teenage drama/civil war. He is clearly putting himself at the center of everyone's story. Again, they were only having so much fun because they saw me. They are only getting along better now to get revenge on me.
He honestly believes that he should always be the one to say all the funniest things. And the second that he leaves the screen, all of the other characters just say, "Where's Kody? Where's Kody?" As if he is the literal center of the universe.
He is a small child. All the adults end this segment with the same emotion in that the event was bittersweet, but they're just relieved it's over.
I was relieved this segment was over.
We'll get into an even more infuriating one. Speaking of events gone by, Kody contemplates the day when Christine moved his boxes into the garage. He regrets how much in denial he was during that tumultuous period. If he just accepted it, right then and there, he figures he would have been in a much better place with his ex and children.
Obviously, but he's way too petty.
He doesn't even accept how things are right now. I find that highly unlikely that would have ever been the case in the past. We cut to Kody riding on his bicycle and Mary tending to her B&B plants. The only thing we garner from this segment is that Kody doesn't want the hard feelings from his and Mary's breakup to push her into talking him in the confessionals.
Too bad.
He didn't say that. He said he just doesn't want Mary to act in the same way Janelle and Christine do, which is talking him.
Which she has been doing.
Who? Christine?
Yeah, no, Mary has been.
Yeah, she is, again, being very sassy this season.
She's in her sassy era.
The man who is constantly in denial does admit he thinks he can get Janelle to stay. Janelle isn't as optimistic. She explains reconciliation isn't in store due to Kody deliberately choosing to stay perpetually at Robyn's. She points out a day when her husband didn't want to come over due to being tired. She said that he can rest at her place just the same when he's at Robyn's. And I was thinking, he's not tired, he's just lazy. This is the same man who didn't come to visit Janelle or Christine's part of the family until 6 in the evening. You're telling me, Kody, that you needed to rest at Robyn's for the whole day in order to spend a few hours at another household?
I think another part of it is Robyn has told us before that she likes to do all the things that she needs to do before Kody comes over, so that when Kody does come over, he doesn't have to do anything. Whereas I kind of feel that the wives wait for Kody to come over so that they can just have a string of things for Kody to do before he leaves.
You honestly think Robyn doesn't wait for Kody to help mount her TV and stuff like that?
Touché.
And even Janelle labels Robyn as the damsel in distress that's always asking Kody for help. It is a contradiction when Robyn says, oh, I get things done in order for him to have a honeymoon at my house, but I also ask him for help on everything.
It's a conundrum.
Mm-hmm. We get to the most egregious portion of the episode. The kids, Robyn, and Kody are having a family game night. And the reason why it's bad is because of some of the things revealed during the game. Robyn enters the living room bearing refreshments of candy apples.
I think it's such a strange treat to bring. The kind of thing that I highly doubt Robyn normally does, because I think if she did this more often, it would have been better, more practiced.
Yeah.
The other thing is all of this seemed fake. Like they've never done this thing before. If you watch, at periods in it, Brianna and Aurora are confused and just looking at Kody oddly.
Yeah, Kody had to ask Ariella how to play Jenga, yet he claims that this is something that is perpetually happening at his house.
Mm-hmm. This is just what we do every day.
So in this room, the cowboy room, I noticed that there were a lot of portraits. There was what looked like a drawing that was signed by John Wayne. And then there was another portrait of some cowboys and Native Americans on horses with the words Kody, Wyoming.
It's a city in Wyoming.
Yeah, but it was spelled with a C instead of the K. Mm-hmm. So this is obviously the Kody room.
Yeah, which is strange because last time Janelle told us that Kody doesn't like being a cowboy. Maybe it's an aesthetic thing? Maybe Robyn decorated it?
It's definitely an aesthetic thing. We know that he likes to wear the horse rings. He likes to pretend that he likes being a cowboy when he doesn't.
And Kody hates everything about living on a farm and living on a ranch. And he always wanted to see the city guy with the fancy car and the great job. And like, that was always what he wanted. Kody grew up on a farm and I think he was like, nope, had my fill of that, not interested.
Robyn puts the wives on blast, saying she is mad at them for having messed with something that was working. She didn't say those exact words. She says that this collective wasn't working together as a team, but you know that's what she meant. She was blaming the women. And I was thinking, well, it was working for you. You were getting the right end of the stick, and everyone else was ignored.
I get the sense that Robyn likes to collect things. She's a collector. She wanted to collect wives. She didn't care if the wives were happy. She just cared that they were in the collection.
We talked about this earlier where Robyn is a hoarder. She likes to collect knickknacks. And she also likes to collect these people as if they were ornaments. You don't have to care about ornaments. They're just there to be there.
Exactly. She wants to collect these women like there's some sort of menagerie in Star Trek or something.
Yeah, it's like all the wives are behind glass barriers, and then she would be walking past Mary, and she'd go, "Oh, hi, Mary," and then she'd continue walking past her.
Mm-hmm.
Kody continues putting his Robyn family on a pedestal, saying how talented they are for playing their music all summer long. He states that it is during these game nights where they play music and guitars, making him a proud dad.
What are you talking about?
I think he's trying to imply that they play their guitars while they're doing the game night, which, how is that possible? You're playing the game. You need to concentrate on that one thing.
I don't know what Kody's trying to communicate to us. Just that he's being smug and that he's bragging about something?
Yeah, this seemed to be a weird flex for Kody to be highlighting what I assume are Aurora's and Brianna's musical abilities. Because we know from Janelle's Instagram that Savannah is also musically gifted. She plays the bass guitar and the bass cello. But you know full well, Robyn and Kody don't invite Savannah to these musical summer game nights.
I'm trying to picture what a musical summer game night is like. They all sit there and they just listen to them play music for hours every night in the summer?
Like he's a king and these are his court of musicians?
Yeah, like King David.
Anyways, back to the activity. Aurora, Brianna, Saul, Ari, Robyn, and Kody are playing Jenga and appear to have a pleasant time. This scene reminded me of something Kody said in season 17.
Robyn, me, and my children are all connecting constantly. It's an energy of connection perpetually. With Janelle and Christine, I'm only getting feedback from them about what's going on with the kids. The kids themselves are not bringing this to me. It's much more nuanced than just to say, Kody favors Robyn. That's not even a cool statement. It's that she communicates and her children communicate. They involve me.
He's putting the onus on the children for him to feel like he's a good father. If they don't bring this to him, aka involve him, they are out of sight, out of mind.
Kody needs the children to validate him, so he exposes himself to the children that validate him and he rejects the ones that don't. And
it's really pathetic.
I mean, yeah, that's Kody's general aura. Is patheticness? I don't know.
Again, this man does not know what it means to be in a relationship. You don't expect the other party to always cater to you.
Especially children?
Mm-hmm. Keeping in theme of everything is the OG children's fault, Robyn goes on a rant saying her youngest two don't know their siblings. These siblings don't send a birthday card to them or go to their birthday parties.
Aren't most of them on the other side of the country?
Yes, they're in different states. This is the same issue I had with Robyn during the Christmas Zoom call. The adult kids probably can't come to your tender's birthday party because they live so far away. It's not personal. Stop letting your kids think it's personal.
Because Robyn tells them that it is personal. Just yesterday, I saw a cousin that I haven't seen in years, and I called her by her sister's name. It's not because I don't like her family. I just am not interacting with so many of these people. It's natural. It's what happens when you have a big family and you're not all in the same small town.
She took it very well. You haven't seen her since she was yay tall.
It's not malevolence. It's just, I got stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. So another thing I take issue with is that Robyn's complaining that these people aren't sending birthday cards, as if that's the bare minimum thing to do on someone's birthday. Sending birthday cards is pretty old school. I personally don't do that. I usually text someone a gift saying happy birthday. If I really like them, I might order something through Amazon to deliver straight to their house. Or I Venmo them money. So for Robyn to think that she or her kids are entitled to birthday cards from other children, I thought was very rude of her to expect or lead them to believe that that is normal.
A step further, is Robyn sending birthday cards to any of the other kids?
No, because remember when Gabe said his father forgot his birthday? I'm thinking, Robyn also forgot Gabe's birthday, or else she'd remind his dad, because Gabe's birthday is only a couple days after Robyn's. Also, Gwen specifically said that Robyn doesn't reach out to her.
Then Jolene Carriera says, in this episode, Robyn continues to say that she tried reaching out to Janelle and her kids. She's always saying she reached out to everybody, but she's met with walls. Nobody responds to her calls. However, I've never seen her reach out to anyone. Is she doing it off camera? So Robyn's never reached out to me like she claims. I reached out to her on her birthday. I sent her happy birthday. But she never did the same to me. So from my perspective, that's not, the truth is what she claims.
This year, 2024, Mykelti stated that Robyn didn't reach out to her on her birthday either. You don't get to accuse other people of the very things you are doing, Robyn.
Robyn does all of the things that Kody claims that Christine does.
Bad-mouthing the kids to her children.
Yeah.
Janelle expounds on Robyn's behavior towards anyone that wasn't the Roblins. Janelle's 6 were scolded if they took food from her fridge. This is something we know all too well. I went over this in the last recap, that Robyn is stingy when it comes to food. Robyn's idea of budgeting is to not feed her kids cereal, chips, ice cream, ramen, the family potlucks, Thanksgiving, etc. So when Janelle claims that her 6 kids couldn't eat from Robyn's house, I believe it. I hate this woman so much.
Yeah, no, this is despicable.
Kody then confesses something mildly disturbing. There was an instant when Ari, his 6-year-old, blurted out, "I hate Christine. She left Dad, so I don't like her." Kody first commends his youngest for her loyalty.
Oh my god, I could just punch him in his face.
Then claims that her attitude towards her bonus mom wasn't his fault. He tried to correct it, but it was too late, since this is just the same viewpoint that everyone in his household was thinking. So, it is your fault, Kody and Robyn. Tim and I just finished watching Inside Out 2 because that came out on Disney+. And I learned that when kids are small, they don't form beliefs yet. They just parrot what their environment tells them.
Yeah, they're ill-equipped to make judgments on lots of things, so they just take what other people around them say as being absolutely true.
And once they get older, which is, I guess, Riley's age in the movie, around 13, that's when their opinions and viewpoints are solidified. I don't blame Ari for thinking this way.
No, to her, it's the only way to think.
Moving on, even if Kody and Robyn don't outright trash talk the OG wives in front of their kids, they are letting their 5 come to their wrong conclusions, which they are more than happy to let them believe. We've seen them do this during that Thanksgiving talk.
They're the ones that are constantly, pushing for the family to get together. And when we finally have a common ground on, this is what we need to do, they kind of just went, screw it, basically.
I don't want to go, no, that's not true, because there is truth to what Aurora is saying. I'm not going to lie to her.
My head goes to a line from The Simpsons where Homer says, "Kids are great. You can teach them to hate the things you hate."
That is apt for Robyn's viewpoint. Words to live by.
Just a paragon of parenting, and he's still better than Kody. Homer Simpson.
Okay. Kody tells another story painting Ari in a negative light again. He was going to go over to Janelle since it was her day in the rotation. That was when his youngest grabbed his legs, kicked and screamed, trying to prevent her dad from walking out the door. When he implored Robyn to get her off him, Robyn smiled, saying that this was cute behavior. Kody should give Ari the time to express herself. We've heard of this behavior from Ari before in the season when Cheryl passed away. Kody was about to go to the funeral, and Ari was blocking the door.
It's been 10 days and Ari barely makes it through 2. And even when he leaves, she really struggles and like tries to stop him and like, why are you leaving me again?
Robyn clearly did not give Ari that same talk she gave the rest of her daughters in season 1.
You need to learn to take turns with the daddy doll, just like how he does in real life. One night at Mary's, one night at Janelle's, one night at Christine, and one night with me.
In that Kody is needed in other households.
Again, Ari is, if not mimicking the behavior of Robyn, she is still mimicking the energy of Robyn, and Robyn is completely allowing it. If Robyn was as devoted to polygamy as she claims that she is, she should have been stern with her daughter and told her, you gotta let him go, and we gotta deal with some sacred loneliness for a while.
Janelle confirms this story, saying Robyn's kids had a mindset in that a polygamous dad is the same as a monogamist one. He should be perpetually present in their lives, something the OG-13 from the beginning did not count on. Because they were not raised to be so clingy, Janelle alleges her kids are well-adjusted adults now. I don't want to get into this statement, so I'll just move on. The former second wife chalks up Ari's behavior to poor parenting and a mismanaging of expectations, which she was right about.
If you're gonna raise kids in polygamy, you have to teach your kids to have exceptionally low expectations.
Because they are going to get an absentee father.
As long as those kids' expectation is floor level, it'll be okay.
Robyn lies to us that despite Ariella's tantrums, this behavior never prevented time lost at another wife's house. And again, you are wrong, Robyn.
Kody doesn't feel like he can be away from the little kids at Robyn's house more than 2 or 3 days at a time. So our trips are always constrained by that. So he has to hurry and get home and do a rapid test to make sure he's not carrying COVID so he can go home to Saul and Ari.
I've been away from the kids for quite a while, and I'm trying still very hard to protect my younger children. And I really appreciate when wives will allow me to protect my younger children. I appreciate wives who are supporting me with just trying to be careful with what's going on with COVID.
Robyn definitely was using her children to prevent Kody from being with other wives.
At the very least, Robyn didn't want to have to be with a crying Ari.
By herself.
Ari, so much stronger than Robyn.
I don't think Robyn has the core strength to deal with a raging Ari. The last wife maintains that she is deeply affected by the dissolution of the family. She mentions her depression and how much she misses these family members she never reaches out to.
She misses the days when she could gesture at them, but not have to interact with them.
We get the second line of the episode that also didn't age well. Kody predicts that as time goes on, and by barely interacting with his children, these relationships will definitely mend themselves, and he will be in full fellowship with them again.
It's like when you get stabbed, you just pull the knife out, you take a nap,
and then it's healed.
And it's healed, you know? You don't gotta fuss about with stitches or making sure that your organs aren't bleeding out. You just give it a little rest.
Well, not everyone can be Deadpool.
Yes, they just mend themselves without effort.
The latter half of this recap will be significantly shorter since I'm sort of bored by birth episodes. I'm also not excited to watch Mykelti. If you want a summary of what happened, you can just watch that animation I did last season.
That was a good one.
In this segment, Mykelti is with her OBGYN, the same doctor that delivered Truly. Christine is still in close contact with Dr. Bean, so much that he was one of the first people she notified when she moved out of Lehigh. What we garner from this appointment is that due to one of the twins being breech, Mykelti is most likely going to need a C-section.
Like most twin births?
Is that how they are?
I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to Google that. Typically, when you only have one baby, there are methods to turn the fetus around in utero. But obviously, since there's not enough space with twins, that's impossible. Janelle and Christine give their point of views. Janelle favors vaginal births over C-sections. She mentions that the recovery time is better when it's not a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
Christine says she liked her natural births, but her one epidural was awesome. Kody prefers home births over hospital ones. I don't care about his opinion. He is not the one in labor, so he doesn't get to have input on what Mykelti should do.
I would love to see him pass a bowling ball. Just, Kody, shut up. Nobody cares about your opinion. Why do you care? You have no skin in the game.
Kody, you don't need to have an opinion on everything.
You know he does, though.
There is a weird exchange when Dr. Bean says extra people aren't allowed in the operating room since that's a higher possibility for infection. He mentions Mykelti's favorite mother will have to be in the waiting room, and Christine says, awkward. They cut to a flashback when Kody and Dr. Bean were discussing Mary's infertility issues in front of Christine. I don't know how this relates to Mykelti's doctor's appointment. I was under the impression Christine said awkward because when Dr. Bean was referring to Mykelti's favorite mother, he was implying that was either Christine or Robyn. It wasn't clear who got that title.
Dr. Bean is good friends with Christine, so it's super weird.
I guess it had to refer to other people talking about the pregnancy in your presence. I wasn't quite sure why those clips were related. You can tell me why they spliced those together?
Oh, the fertility bits from season 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. I kind of felt maybe it was because Christine was trying to say that Kody didn't confuse Dr. Bean, and maybe Dr. Bean was playing along and that he wasn't confused or something. I don't know.
Maybe. The appointment comes to a close. The doctor is going to induce Mykelti in 6 days if her water hasn't broken already. We fast forward 5 days. Mykelti's full siblings and mom gather at her house. She hopes that this is the last time she's pregnant. She wants more kids in the future, but clarifies that they will not be coming out of her. In a previous episode, Mykelti did state that one of her aspirations, aside from a fashion career, was to be a foster mom.
In 10 years, I see myself living in San Francisco in a really nice house with 3 children that are adopted children because I want to start doing foster care. I do not see myself with a husband. I don't see myself in a relationship. But I still want kids, and I want to be able to give children growing up the life that I had because I had such a good childhood. And I want to be able to give that to children who didn't have a good childhood.
Oh, that makes more sense than what I was thinking. I was thinking that she was going to take up a career as a child-stealing witch in the woods.
No, I don't think that's what she was going for, Tim.
I mean, now I know.
So hopefully that comes true because Mykelti was able to have the husband. Who knows? Maybe she and Tony will be able to adopt.
Or be a witch in the woods.
The pregnant mama converses with her family. She has accepted not being able to have a natural childbirth. Dr. Bean offered to put a mirror in place so that if Mykelti wants to see her kids getting pulled out of her, that is certainly an option. Christine declares how cool would that be? And I'm thinking, cool? I don't want to see myself cut open. That's a nightmare.
Some people are just different that way.
Isabel has her reservations. You can hear her ask if being conscious for that puts you into cardiac arrest. This doesn't perturb Mykelti in the slightest. She says how cool and gruesome it would be to see the doctor cut through the skin, muscle, and uterine wall.
You do you.
Mykelti is gonna Mykelti, no doubt about it. Aspen asks how Avalon feels about this event. Christine says having 3 children makes it so you're never alone. This is the same sentiment we heard about having a polygamous family in that you are never alone with this magnitude of people. I just put my own personal experience into this. Tim and I are both the middle child of 3 siblings. From our experiences, 2 of the siblings are closer to each other. So when familial conflicts arise, those 2 will have each other's backs, and not necessarily the thirds. I know that's not how it's like for all people that grew up in a family of 3 siblings. That's just how it was for us.
Yeah.
It is now induction day. Robyn drove to Utah. She also picked up Mykelti's mother-in-law, who resides in St. George. That must have been an awkward car ride because in an episode where Tony's family came to dinner, it was revealed that Tony's parents don't speak English. So throughout the ordeal, Tony kept mistranslating or not translating everything the other was saying. It's like a 5-hour drive from St. George to Salt Lake, so I guess they just listened to music or something? Robyn's not talkative either, so it was probably fine. We learn more of how close Robyn is to Mykelti. The fourth wife came during a time when the young 13-year-old felt ostracized by her parents and siblings. I think Mykelti told a story on her Patreon that there was a tradition where all the girls could have a Clawda ring, which was their brown version of a purity ring. And I think Christine forbade Mykelti from getting one because of something she did. I don't know what that was.
And I don't care.
From Mykelti's account, she implied that her parents and the sisters her age were sort of looking down on her, so she didn't have anyone on her side until Robyn came along.
I'm sure Mykelti felt alone even though there were so many people around her.
Yes, so that obviously doesn't ring true with their previous statement. Tony then revealed that he gave Mykelti a ring in her parents' place. I sympathize with Mykelti. That's not fair for a lot of the members in your family to insinuate that you're unworthy. You see your other siblings get these rings, but you don't, for whatever reason. So I can see why Mykelti was quickly drawn to Robyn, and why Robyn was drawn to Mykelti. Because Robyn also struggled with the concept of purity. I will put a disclaimer. All of this is nonsense. The idea of purity. Because it seems that the OG3 and Kody might have positioned Mykelti as a cautionary tale for the other children.
Yeah, I can see that.
I feel they were trying to kill two birds with one stone in terms of putting Mykelti in her place while saying to the other kids that she's not a good example.
Yeah.
Back to the hospital. There is a black screen with white text saying sometime before the procedure, Mykelti's heart rate started to spike. Mykelti explains that she became super anxious when she was informed that Tony wasn't allowed in the operating room whilst she was getting the epidural. She started shaking uncontrollably, and she said to the nurses that the only solution was to let her husband be beside her. And lo and behold, this strategy worked. As soon as Tony entered the premises in full beekeeper attire, Mykelti calmed down immediately. Another black screen appears. This time with the text of when the babies were born, which is around 5:30 in the evening. Robyn tells us how overjoyed she was seeing her grandbabies. She was the first to hold Archer. She looked over to Christine, who was holding Ace. In that moment, Robyn immediately wished that the circumstances between her former sister wife and her were different. I felt bad for Robyn because this is a very heartwarming moment, and she's sharing the exact experience with someone she's on bad footing with.
As annoying as Robyn is, she does just want everyone to get along. She still needs to contribute more, but I guess it is just what it is. Maybe it would be better if Robyn just learned to accept it.
Maria, the other grandmother in all this, is at home watching Avalon. And this is when Mykelti and Tony confess it took some time for Avalon to be gentle. The Brown adults discuss what it was like when their toddler children had more siblings come into the family. There wasn't much shock for them, for the current children, since having one new sibling year after year was the norm growing up.
Yeah.
Kody discusses that Christine was jealous when Janelle had the first baby.
I believe it.
Christine admits to that very feeling as a newlywed polygamist wife. She felt her identity was compromised. That was strange to hear because I was under the impression Janelle was 6 months pregnant with Logan and then Christine married Kody. So this was to be expected for Janelle to give birth at some point, but Christine was still struggling about her identity when it happened.
I think it's only natural to struggle with your identity in a plural family. You need to figure out where you fit. You have to try to change yourself to better fit into all of it. It's hard enough entering into marriage with one person and figuring out what your identity is sometimes, but when you have to be the fun wife, but you also have to put up with Mary and Janelle, and you have to do all these things while keeping sweet, I can see what she's talking about.
I think all the wives in Kody had a crisis of identity. Just trying to navigate this polygamist mess.
I think they were all pretending.
Christine keeps saying that the twins are fraternal, so they look nothing alike at all. You could have fooled me.
Angie kept yelling at the TV, they look exactly the same.
When Mykelti was holding them in the hospital, they looked indistinguishable. Then again, they're not my kids, so I don't have to tell them apart.
I was just thinking about twins today, and I was wondering, if they are identical, how do you tell them apart? I would write a letter on the bottom of their foot.
I heard people shave their head just as a means to differentiate them, at least when they're babies.
Yeah, because if you do switch them up, nobody's going to know. You're not going to know.
That was an Onion article where it said the most anticlimactic switched at birth story ever is identical twins getting their identities mixed up.
They don't take ID.
During the scene when everyone is back home in Mykelti's house, you can see that there is some art in the background. There's an Iron Man figurine and what looks like some sculpture from the anime Saint Seiya.
Yeah, Saint Seiya.
It's that golden statue.
Mm-hmm.
On the wall, you can see there is Avatar: The Last Airbender art. I think it's a crossover of Harry Potter. Aang is Hufflepuff. I think that's Zuko as Gryffindor. Katara is Ravenclaw, and you can't see who's Slytherin, but I'm 100% sure that's Toph.
It's the epitome of millennial nostalgia.
Mykelti conveys what the schedule will be in terms of help. Robyn will stick around for the next couple days. After she leaves, it'll be Christine's turn to stay over, followed by Maria's. Robyn then gives a sentiment that again doesn't hold up. Just because wives are divorcing doesn't mean that people won't be in each other's lives.
What happened to your husband?
Also for Robyn, this is coming from the woman who is so distant from Mykelti's life, she doesn't tell her that she's changing houses. I don't know what happened between those two. Some people suspect there was something that happened at Garrison's funeral. Again, per Mykelti's Patreon. What Robyn said, just because you divorce someone doesn't mean you're absent from their lives. Okay, Robyn, so how present are you in your ex-husband's life?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How willing are you to mediate your children's relationship with their biological father? I don't think that sentiment applies to you.
Robyn is a huge fan of the double standard.
It's her favorite thing behind purple floral print shirts.
Huge fan.
So that is the end of the episode.
Kody, Robyn, Mary, Christine, and Janelle reflect awkwardly on how awkward they were at Secret Wedding. We watch Kody and Robyn's family have a game night for the very first time. We had a bit about Mykelti as she gives birth to twin sons, and we see Robyn reflect on how sad she is that Christine couldn't just shut up and be her sister wife.
Thank you for making it to the end, and so we will see you next week. Bye!
Bye.
Well, Cody's down to one wife, and he's feeling kind of blue. Lost 3 out of 4, didn't have a clue. Says it's all their fault, but we know the score. Ain't easy being Kody, no more wives at his door. Oh, Kody, Kody, what you get yourself into? 3 wives have left you, now you ain't got a clue. Pointing fingers everywhere, but it's clear to see life as a monogamist ain't your cup of tea.